The meeting is called to order, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance is being conducted by Major Anne Marie Cardona from the North Miami Police Department.
Good evening, everyone. If you would please place your right hand over your heart and join me in reciting, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Followed by invocation with Pastor Enoch Millian from Philadelphia Baptist Church. If Pastor Millian is not present, Major Cardona, can you pray for us?
Certainly.
Since you're already here.
Absolutely. I'm up here. Bow your heads. Please, Lord, bless us in this council meeting. Give our council personnel the knowledge and forethought to make all the appropriate decisions and to listen with open ears and open hearts. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend.
Mr. Manager, any additional deletions?
None, sir.
And
Except there's one additional presentation after this from the finance director. It's a very short presentation on what has occurred over the last 2 days, or 3 days.
you want to go with it now?
We'll have the finance presentation after.
First?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call by Mr. Clerk, please.
Mayor Joseph,
Present.
Councilman Galvin,
Here.
Councilman Bieneme,
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Keys,
Here.
Councilwoman Steril. Mayor, we have a quorum to proceed.
Thank you. We will proceed with the presentations, Mr. Manager.
I'd like to call Carl Leffler, our interim finance director, as requested for the quarterly financial report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Carl LaFleur, Interim Finance Director. As requested by the City Manager, I would like to present the City of North Miami 2015 quarterly cash analysis. Please note that these amounts are unaudited. Summary of cash provides an understanding of changes in the city's cash position across funds. The citywide cash balances has increased $4,164,081 from the end of the first quarter of 2014 to the end of the first quarter of 2015 to a balance of $61,917,627. The increase over these 12 months is primarily due to $1 million more in property tax collections, $2.1 million more in water and sewer collections on balances owed on customer accounts, and $200,000 more in collections from Biscayne Landing rental fees. I also like to point out fiscal year 2013. The Water and Sewer Department converted from IBM to Eden, which led to billing delays, as we all know, and this declined our cash receipts. Major changes in cash from the first quarter of this fiscal year compared to the previous quarter were in the half-cent transportation surtax fund, the water and sewer utility fund, and the stormwater utility fund. The half-cent transportation surtax fund incurred capital improvement costs for streets, alley, and sidewalk upgrades in the amount of approximately $500,000. The Water and Sewer Fund also incurred additional capital improvement costs to include upgrades to sewage force mains and the purchase of a new service VACCON sewer cleaning truck, which combined represents approximately 2.1 million of the 2.9 decrease in the fund's cash. The Stormwater Utility Fund incurred street service repairs, equipment rentals, and drainage improvements of approximately $700,000 of the fund's decrease in cash. Citywide cash balances had increased slightly by $514,000 this first quarter ended December 31, 2014. Cash balances tend to decrease in the first quarter when operations funded by property taxes continue in advance of property tax proceeds to be received in November. And this is the accountability of all of our 28 funds, well, with the exception of our pension funds. The city operates on a pool cash basis, which wherever you see negatives means that the general fund has given that particular fund amounts in anticipation of being funded by that fund. In other words, it's more of a short-term borrowing. We call it a due to, due from. And I also like to show you the trend of our cash since 2013. And that concludes the presentation.
Thanks.
Okay, I have a question. Number one, our general fund is up about over $3 million. From 2013, we had a deficit of $220,000. How did we get an extra $3 million? Where did that come from? Not complaining, but where did it come from?
Let's see. You're looking at fiscal year 2015 now, right?
Yes, the first quarter changes.
Okay. Okay, well, during this period, this is really the 3 months ended December 31, 2014. In comparison to the previous quarter, our money went up $300,000. That is a time when we get property taxes coming through, and it's more of a comparison to apples and oranges because during the end of fiscal year 2014, which is the last quarter, we do not receive taxes. So
But this is the first quarter of each. I'm looking at first quarter 2015, first quarter 2014. I'm just comparing the first quarter of each year.
okay. Well,
First quarter changes.
well, I can tell you that we have received higher assessed values on our property, and which accounts for $1 million more in revenue for the city.
$1 million?
$1 million
Okay.
more, yes, ma'am.
So we're up $3 million. I'm just wondering where all this money came from, or why we were so low in 2013.
And this is really more of the change in, as far as 2013, the change from one quarter to the next, and I can't say.
Indomit Alim, isn't the water bill that we start collecting? We haven't collected for 9 months. That maybe did that change?
No, but that's the utility fund. That's
Okay.
separate. I believe the
what I'm-
question that is asking, Councilwoman, I think it's two things. We also had contributions from increased taxes, and the other area is the red light camera that went into the general fund. But I'll confirm that for you.
And also, on our water and utility fund, in 2013, we were down 3,000,002. But last first quarter, we were up 630, and now we're back down 2,900,000. So we've got some big fluctuations from first quarter to first quarter to first quarter. I'm just wondering where those came from. Something I would like, Mr. Gunny, something I'd like to, this is the first time I'm looking at it, so I'd like to know why we've got these fluctuations, where the money's coming or going. So.
Okay, I'll look into it, and when we meet, we could actually go through those numbers.
Thank you.
In
I'll
depth.
pass the gavel back to our
Sure.
mayor.
That's it?
This is it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I want to acknowledge the presence. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Manager?
No.
No? The presence of the Honorable State Representative Daphne Campbell in our midst. I don't know if you would like to say just a few words. Oh, she has an item? Okay, so just say hello. Thank you. Miss Pam Solomon for announcement.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to share with you a few of our upcoming events as we wrap up the month of February 2015 here in the city of North Miami. It is a busy week. We do have tomorrow evening an event hosted by the North Miami Public Library and the city's Black History Month Committee. It's called Moonlight Tales. It's celebrating African American folklore and really concentrating on the oral traditions of African American history. We have a national storyteller, Toni Simmons, who is in town, and she will be part of that performance, as well as a host that is a local spoken word artist, Rebecca Butterfly Bonds, is going to be with us, and local poet Will Sirius will be performing as well. So please come out, bring your family and friends. Tomorrow evening, Mocha Plaza, right next door to City Hall. The event begins at 6:30 p.m. On Thursday, February 26th, we are hosting a comprehensive plan workshop from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Joe Celestine Center, located at 1525 Northwest 135th Street. The comprehensive plan is being updated. It's a 7-year process. Every 7 years, the city needs to review and revise, update its comprehensive plan. So this is our process that we're doing, the beginning of that update. The Community Planning and Development Department spearheads that process, and we will learn an overview of the state requirements. We'll view the city's adopted future land use map with existing heights and densities depicted. We'll discuss the city's priorities and a timeline for completion of the update. So for additional information, you can contact the Community Planning and Development Department directly at 305-895-9825. You can also find out more information on our website at northmiamifl.gov/CPD for Community Planning and Development. On Friday, February 27th, Mayor Joseph is hosting a business luncheon open to all North Miami businesses. We will be hosting the luncheon at the Mocha Cafe here in downtown North Miami from 12 to 2 p.m. We ask that you please contact the Office of the Mayor and Council to RSVP at 305-895-9815. And at the luncheon, we will talk about downtown revitalization, as well as provide resources for small businesses that are available through the Small Business Administration. Friday evening, we will have 2 events. We have Jazz at Mocha happening. It's the last Friday of every month here in the Mocha Plaza. The concert begins at 8 p.m. This month, we feature the Marcus Gottschalk Quartet with an homage to Miles Davis. And also, Mocha will be open traditionally by donation. You can enjoy the Purvis Young exhibit, which is on view through March 12th. As usual, North Miami residents are members of Mocha, and you can activate your membership by calling 305-893-6211, or you can also visit mochanomi.org. That's mochanomi.org. Also that evening, Councilman Biename is hosting a meeting on the single-family home beautification program for District 3 that will take place at Griffin Community Center, located at 12220 Griffin Boulevard, and that workshop begins at 7 p.m. And last but not least, we have our grand finale for Black History Month. We placed cards out for our Rhythm and Soul Block Party. That's this Saturday, February 28th from 5 to 9 p.m. It is a free event. It's family friendly. We have live music and entertainment featuring the Noel Gordon and the Bee Glove Band with special invited guest performers. Once again, it's for all ages. From 5 to 9 p.m., we'll have food, music, DJ, dancing. Come out and enjoy our Black History Month Block Party, Rhythm and Soul Block Party. And for more information on any of our upcoming events, you can always visit northmiamifl.gov/celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pam.
Thank you.
The consent agenda.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Anyone wishes to record a no? Consent agenda approved 5-0. Tab D, appointments to the City of North Miami's various boards and committees. At this time, Dr. Smith Joseph would like to appoint Michael McDermott to the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. Dr. Smith Joseph would like to appoint Michael McDermott to the Business Development Board. And Councilwoman Keys would like to appoint Marie Samuels to the Advisory Committee on the Disabled. May I have a motion to approve the appointments?
So moved.
Second.
Anyone who wishes to record a no? Motion was made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Councilwoman Keys. Item passes 5-0. Tab E. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to issue purchase orders for the purchase of two 2015 Outlaw 6100 ZTR mowers, spec number 17, one 2015 Caterpillar 236D skid loader, spec number 23, one 2015 Caterpillar 303.5E excavator, spec number 35, six 2015 Ford Fusion sedans, POGs, one 2015 Ford Transit Connect cargo van, S6E, two 2015 Ford Transit T-250 cargo vans, R1C, one 2015 Ford F-150 pickup truck, F1C, three 2015 Ford F-150 extended cab pickup trucks, X1C, six 2015 Ford F-250 pickup trucks, F2A, two 2015 Ford F-250 crew cab pickup trucks, W2A, and one 2015 Ford F-350 crew cab pickup truck, W3C, to be placed in service by the Building Department, Community Planning and Development, Finance Department, Information Technology, Parks and Recs, Public Works, and Risk Management at an approximate aggregate cost of $640,000 from various competitively selected vendors to piggyback the competitive awards issued by the Florida Sheriff's Association and Florida Association of Counties under the cab and chassis trucks and other fleet equipment bid award number 14-12-0904 and the police rated administrative utility vehicles, trucks, and vans bid award number 14-22-0904, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Move approval of the resolution.
Second. We don't need staff presentation or anything? No?
Well, basically, what these vehicles are, they are all. If you look at them, most of the vehicles through the mayor, some are 2001, 2000, and 1987 gel loader. All these vehicles are replacement vehicles for all the departments. from code enforcement to the water plant, public works, and also some of the mowers that are used by the Parks Department for landscaping services. So all the equipment listed here are being purchased through the Florida Shares bid. Traditionally, we have always done it through the Florida Shares, and it's 26 pieces of equipment that we are replacing. The items would be then surplused and put on auction. The older pieces of equipment.
The older pieces? Yeah. Okay. Item is open for public hearing. Public hearing is now closed.
Motion was made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Mayor Smith. Would anyone like the record to know? Item passes 5-0. Tab F. Proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, calling for the election of the mayor, 2 council members, and 1 for council district number 1 and 1 for council district number 4, and the city clerk, with the election to be held on the second Tuesday of May, on May 12, 2015, with any necessary runoff election to be held on June 2nd, 2015, as provided by the charter of the City of North Miami and the City of North Miami Code of Ordinances, providing the qualifying period for candidates, providing for the closing of registration book, providing for the hours and locations for voting, providing for an effective date, and for all other purposes.
I'll go ahead and move approval.
Second. Public hearing. Anybody? Anybody who wishes to be heard on the item? Public hearing is closed.
Motion was made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Mayor Joseph. Would anyone like the record a no? Tab F passes 5-0. Tab G, discussion and approval of sponsorship in the amount of $2,000 for eStop, a 501c3 not-for-profit organization dedicated to eradicating the school to prison, a network of transformative schools and educational opportunities for underserved and the underserved youth.
Thank you very much. This item, I was approached by a gentleman, Mr. Henry Brown. You here? You have a copy of that flyer or of the document? Did you make a copy for the other?
Should be in the package with everybody's.
Okay. You want to explain a little? No, you can just go to the mic and just explain briefly what this program is all about.
Okay.
Briefly.
As he just said, first, good evening. My name is Henry Brown. As he just said, eStop eradicating the school to prison. eStop eradicating the school to prison pipeline.
Name and address.
Henry Brown, 1751 Northwest 166th Street, Miami Garden, Florida, 33054. I'm the community liaison for a nonprofit organization, eStop. That's eradicating the school to prison pipeline. We've been in existence for 4 years now, and we work with the anti-gang strategy. You're probably familiar with the Walking One Stops, where we go into the community and provide services to those people. We've been over here in North Miami a couple of times, I think this year. We have a mentoring program for kids that's been direct file, and we also starting a brand new school at Northwestern High School this summer, a Freedom School there, and we're going to also have an after school program for those kids. Our goal is to put a Freedom School inside every troubled school inside Miami-Dade County, because with our mentoring program, it's a little different than the Freedom School that's done by the Children Trust, because we're reaching out to those kids that's really troubled. We want the worst kids, the ones with the highest suspension rates and things like that, because we have a different type of mentoring program. Our goal is to have kids mentoring each other in the future, and to have a place where they can go and do things together, and it's called a peer review, where they rate each other on how they're doing in the community and in school. And so we want to teach these kids something different, and try to stop that prison pipeline. So, and our goal is to go to every city in Miami-Dade County. We've already partnered with Miami-Dade County School. They gave us buses. They gave us the school to start in Northwestern. We're going to be opening up one in Miami Garden soon. We're working on that now, and we want everyone to be involved. I approached the mayor because I know that he is a humble servant, and I approached him for East Stop with our sponsorship package, and I wanted North Miami to come on board. A lot of the people that we see at TGK and at the Juvenile Assessment Center, some of those kids are from North Miami. So every community has to play a part in developing these kids and their parents, because we work with the parents also. And so we just need help. We're growing, and we're growing very fast, and we need help.
Now, Mr. Manager, did you make an evaluation as to how we would benefit from this program as a city?
Well, again, I looked at the organization. I actually, through resolution 20112-133, it is a legitimate organization. We pulled the Department of State and Division of Corporations. They are a legitimate organization with all the required paperwork from the Division of Corporations. There is a lot. Our high school, we do have our PAL program, which reaches out to a lot of the community. But again, reaching out to our high school students and any sort of program to assist in getting the youths from going to prison, I think is going to be a benefit to the community.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the sponsorship that you asking is for us to actually adapt an area, something like that?
Right. In the back here where we say adopt a neighborhood, you can adopt a student, because some people have different things on that they want to do. Like a philanthropist, one of the philanthropists, he came aboard and he said that every time we raise $25,000, he would match it. So our goal is to continue to raise these $25,000 in blocks so that we can keep getting that $25,000 from him. The more we get, the faster we can put these programs inside these schools, because a lot of our schools are very troubled, and in order for us to get we got students from Barry University, Florida International, that's coming aboard. I mean, they're interns. We got counselors. We got everything that we need in place, and we're moving forward.
But once we do that sponsorship, what are we engaged for? What will be our responsibilities in that program?
Well, what we're gonna do, we're gonna mention North Miami City Council, the mayor's office over here. We're gonna talk about we're already doing walking one stops over here in this community, but we're gonna start bringing mentoring programs into the school, or we're gonna invite those troubled kids to come to our programs. And we're going to have one in North Miami before this year is out. We already have one Northwestern starting this summer. But before the year is out, also, we're going to have one in Miami Garden. And it'll be pretty close because it'll be right by the police department over here along 15th Avenue. We already have the building already.
So, manager,
we got the buses. We got buses to come pick up kids. We got drivers. We got everything already.
Mr. Mayor? Do you know of any school in our neighborhood that has a lot of troubled kids? Or should we go with adapt a neighborhood or versus adapt a school?
Well, the only way is through the high school. And we have the educational board that Dr. Claude is on. And actually, we could reach out to the high school to be, part of it.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
May I ask that we continue this item 2 weeks? Our resolution of 2012 that you just read from also requires that we get bank statements and board of directors lists from any nonprofit asking for money. That's not included in the presentation tonight. We've received strong letters from the Department of Ethics to quit ignoring our own rules and resolutions. It sounds like this gentleman has a very, very worthy project, but so that we might have a packet before us that complies with our own resolutions, I'd just like to ask that we continue this 2 weeks and bring it back.
I have a copy of our board members right here, our advisory board, the standing committees, special committees. I have all of that right here, if that would help.
You say you want a copy of bank statement?
Our resolution asks for copies of bank statements. It asks for copies of board of directors. This is all supposed to, it's not your fault. Our staff should have gotten this information from you before they brought it to us. There's a lot of different things that our established resolutions say we must do when we're giving grants, giving money away, leasing facilities, giving use of facilities, a lot of things that are supposed to be done according to our own resolution. We violated that in the past, and the Department of Ethics has sent us very strongly worded letters saying, stop doing that, follow your own rules.
Okay, are you
So
making
that-
the motion?
So I would just ask that we continue this 2 weeks to allow staff the time to
To
pull all
get
that
the proper
information
doc, okay,
together.
I agree.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
For the record, tab G has been tabled. Tab H, discussion and approval of the fee reduction for Doctors Charter School of Miami Shores for the use of the Joe Celestine Community Center.
Again, this, I was approached about this item because apparently the school is using the facility already for volleyball and some other kind of sports. And their fees on the yearly basis is about 16 to 20,000 a year.
That's correct.
I became aware that a good number of the students at that school, actually they are residents of the city of North Miami, and they do benefit from using the facility for sports. And when I was approached to see how the city could help the school in saving some money, then I talked to the manager to see if we could find a way in our budget. If we were to do some kind of reduction, if our budget could absorb that reduction. So this is where we are right now. And you can say a few words on that item, and then city manager can proceed afterward.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. My name is Ted Kretschmar. I reside at 5011 Northeast Quayside Terrace. I've been a taxpayer here in North Miami since 1981. I am on the board of directors of the Doctors Charter School. I have Miss Alice Birch here, who is also on the board, and also here is the mayor of Miami Shores, Herta Holly. I'd like to bring you up a little history of the charter school. The Miami Shores community put up a $5 million bond along with the doctors that sold out the North Shore Hospital. So that's over $10 million. The Miami Shores residents pay in at least $50,000 to $75,000 a year, every year. The current registration is roughly about 235, 215 students from North Miami, 175 from North Miami. We're not asking for any outlay of money, but just a waiver of the cost of utilizing the gym. If we didn't use the gym is going to be there anyway, so there's no cost to the city of North Miami. If some of you are familiar with charter schools, the amount of our budget every year is really tight. It's very difficult for us to continue, and we'd like North Miami's help by waiving the cost of utilizing the basketball and the volleyball programs.
Mr. Manager?
Yeah, the request is to waive the fees is a little over $16,000. So at present, the application is in the city, and the applicant is requesting a waiver of all the fees completely. So that's the reason why it's on the agenda. As explained by Mr. Kretschmeyer, The organization has been in existence, Doctors Charter School, since 2005. There's registered, I believe, over 163 North Miami kids at the school.
How many?
163. That's the number that I was given by the applicant. So I think it serves both the community, some of the kids in our community, as well as our neighboring communities as well.
Well, that's pretty much it, except, I mean, I don't know, would we need the same type of document that we ask of the other gentleman?
Well, it's a charter school.
Are you gonna open public hearing, or are we gonna?
I'm just asking for that.
Okay.
If that's the case, then we don't even need public hearing. We could, if we would need the same type of document, bank statements and,
I'm looking
and,
at our,
board
I'm
of
looking at our
trustees.
requirements. I'm looking at our requirements. I don't really see any, requirement for, financial statements, but there are other, requirements that I'd like to ask about.
Sure.
But-
Well, okay, so let's open public hearing first then.
Carol Prager, 2509 Northeast 135th Street. I tried to find some information out myself regarding their financials today. I pulled something off the internet from 2012. I wanted to ask a couple of questions. One, have we done this before in the past? Have we waived fees for the Doctors Charter School? Because I was confused about their letter requesting it. Have we done this in the past? Number two, I'd like to know more information of really how much it's going to cost. We maintain those basketball courts. We have electricity to pay. We have risk management liability cost. We have security costs. The citizens always saw Joe Celestine Community Center as a revenue generating source for the city, and I don't know if we're going to be opening a door here now for other people to come that have problems. We have budget issues of ourselves in the city. And in some of the information I pulled off the internet, it speaks to from their auditing firm, speaks to capital improvement requirements, and it says the school maintains a continuous capital improvements program to enhance facilities and update fixtures and equipment as required. So I'd like to know if they're raising money so that they can build the facilities that they need for their school, for their athletic department, and not come to the city and ask us to give ours free of charge.
Public hearing is still open. Public hearing is closed. Mr. Oh, okay.
Jessica Austin, 1140 Northwest 125th Street in Sunkist Grove. Okay, it was said that there's 163 students from North Miami who's attending the school. What is the total enrollment?
600.
Yeah, the correct figure was over 215 students from North Miami, roughly 175 from Miami Shores.
That's still a very small number of students from our community who's attending that school to justify them to free of charge use our facilities. So in my view, it's not justifiable. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Howard Tonkin, 12600 Griffin Boulevard. I'd like to see the kids play, and I don't think that there's a problem. It seems like it's not very much money to the budget, and I think this would be a great opportunity for the city of North Miami to start partnering and building some bridges with the city of Miami Shores. Miami Shores partners with El Portal, right? El Portal and Biscayne Park and Miami Shores, and those cities work together. And I think we should consider partnering more with our other cities, and perhaps the city of Miami Shores will throw us a bone down the road. And I think life is about building bridges. Thank you.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bayshore Drive. I believe the mayor's intent is very admirable, this gesture of cooperation. But as Carol Prager, citizen Carol Prager, pointed out, there are concerns about operations and liability costs that's borne by the city currently. If it were to be completely waived, it does possibly lead to an abuse of that process. Maybe what might be done here is a slight consideration, a minor decrease in the amount that's paid, and so that people are still held accountable in a way, that their rights and such are, it's a balance, and that maybe if it's 2,000 or possibly even 4,000, which would be a fair cut to them, and it would help them, it would be fair. In addition to that, if most of the students in the school are not from North Miami, we'd have to point out to direct trade-offs. I don't know if we've seen that yet, but that's a concern, and I think this is really an equitable way of doing things if there's a just minor adjustment, just in consideration. Thank you.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. Any discussion from the dais?
I have a couple questions for staff. Question is, we have some requirements, and the organization should be a significant value to the community or its residents. It appears that we do have 163 or 200 students is a big crowd, so I think we've met that. If the charter school was not playing, what I want to say is, are we scheduling times? When are they going to be using this facility? And if they weren't using this facility, who would be using it? Is it like after school? Would we be getting money otherwise, or would it be open for everybody? I'm not familiar with that.
It's all based on scheduling of the facility. They actually use the facility right now. The charter school does pay for the facility.
Do we have the director of Parks and Rec?
The Parks Director is here.
Derek?
Yeah. They do
Mr.
use the
Corcoran?
facility. And it's all a scheduling with the school itself. I'll turn it over to our Parks Director to give you a little more
I'd like to
in-depth.
see what the schedule is. How much are we talking about? And are we missing out on getting normal fees? And also, it does require a certificate of insurance on this and a hold harmless for the city. So
That's correct.
Is the doctor's charter school, are they providing insurance to the city for this?
Well, if approved, then the list at the bottom of Exhibit C of the same ordinance I just read out, for all uses for any public and community event, the list of criteria that is there, which is a certificate of insurance, indemnification, all of that would be obtained prior to giving final approval.
Okay, 'cause, I mean, that's what I'm looking at, but I'm also interested in scheduling what we would be receiving if we weren't doing this, and also whether we did a partial waiver. When I spoke to you, Mr. Ghani, you mentioned a partial waiver as
Partial
opposed
waiver,
to
that's
full
correct.
waiver.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Corker, you have anything to add?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Through the manager, Derek Corker, Parks and Rec Director, City of North Miami. We do schedule other events, and we have open forum to the public. We have been serving with Dr. Charter for numerous years. They have a schedule that is a tentative, and our staff does allow for opportunities for them to utilize the facility and also still have public use to our residents of North Miami. Your question was regarding if they were not utilizing the facility, we would probably still schedule other organizations that we have many requests for the usage of Joe Celestine Center, and they would pay a fee also, just as Dr. Charter does, or we could absolutely do additional programs for the city residents.
Okay.
So what is the scheduling right now? How often are we talking about?
I can provide you those, Councilwoman. I don't have them in front of me, but on average, they're probably about once or twice a week that we see Dr. Charter, depending on the schedule. Depending on the season, if it's volleyball or basketball season. But if I'm not mistaken, they're probably within their once or twice a week for practice and games, without games scheduled.
And what is, Mr. Ghani, you said the fee was 20,000?
Approximately,
Right.
was a little over $16,300 is the estimate that I had.
Councilman?
Mr. Ghani, may I clarify? The 16,000 is revenue not received, not cost to the city. Is Mr. Kretschmar accurate when he says this doesn't cost us anything? It's just that we're not receiving it as income.
That's correct. There's the fee schedule that Mr. Kretschmar is referring to is the schedule that we charge for any organization that is renting the facility during that period.
Okay. Up until about 2008 or 2009, we used to do this for North Miami Senior High School for their use of the athletic stadium out there. I'll try to broadcast. Whoever's working the mic in the back, maybe you want to hit the volume a little bit. Up until about 2008, we waived fees for North Miami Senior High School to use our facilities. We also used to pay them to clean swales and stuff. Long story short, I made the request several weeks ago. I'm sorry, Ted. I got to sort of address both issues at the same time. I asked several weeks ago that we do this for North Miami High and for Morning High. So if we're going to help schools a little outside the city's boundaries with city students, we need to also address how North Miami High and Morning High, who are being charged a couple $1,000s per football game and don't make that back at the gate at all, how we can assist the schools that are right here within our city. Now, I made that request several weeks ago, and I've yet to hear, Mr. Corker, from your department as to how you might handle that. I'm not happy that my constituents who ask questions get left dangling for weeks and months at a time. So it's nice that we're here tonight to address this for the Shores School, but we need to address our own home schools. And I'll also ask the city attorney to define whether or not she feels that this school and other schools need to comply with the 2012 resolution that we passed regarding documentation, bank statements, board of directors, etc. Because I don't want to, doing good things, violate the rules, and again, get a fine or a letter from the Ethics Commission.
Let me address your issue. You said you're referring to the 2012 resolution?
Yes, we passed one in 2010 and one in 2012.
Yeah, so the one that you passed in 2012 was actually less restrictive than the one that you had previously. So if you look at the one that you passed in 2012, Exhibit C, which relates to the use of facilities, you would go down to 3, which is nonprofit. So the Doctors Charter School would be a nonprofit. And what's required is that the organization is currently active, a valid nonprofit organization. I don't know whether we have those documentation presently.
Not at present.
Okay, so we would need that documentation before moving forward. I
Okay.
believe there's a form that kind of addresses each of the criteria that should be placed in the packet. So I would recommend perhaps that we have all of that addressed prior to bringing it to council.
Are
to deal.
Dade County Public Schools considered a nonprofit? I assumed a nonprofit to be a 501c3 designation status handed down by the IRS.
Yeah, I believe the doc is. Are you a nonprofit? Yes. They're a
Okay.
nonprofit.
I hate to do this, but what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If I might ask that we continue this 2 weeks until you have the time to pull all the documentation
Together
together
with
under our
everything.
resolutions and bring it back to us.
So we'll move.
Could I ask one thing? In essence, to save you time, if you could go ahead and approve it now pending us providing the proper
If you'll pay our
credentials.
if you'll pay our ethics fines when the Dade County Ethics Commission throws it down at us for violating our
I
own
wish I
rules.
could do that, but I can't.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
so we'll,
we rightfully continued this gentleman's situation. We have to sort of good for the goose, good for the gander, do it here too until we get all the documentation.
No problem.
And Mr. Ghani, please, your staff needs to know this and do this before it even comes to us. I apologize to everybody whose time we've wasted this evening. They should know what our rules are, and before it even gets on our agenda, all the T's have to be crossed and I's dotted.
Okay.
For the record, tab H was tabled and is to be heard during next council meeting. That's correct?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
And we're good.
Citizens Forum is now open.
Good evening, Jose Fuentes with Becker Polikoff, 121 Alhambra, Coral Gables, 33134, representing the village of Biscayne Park, Biscayne Garden, sorry, Biscayne Park. I'm getting these mixed up now. We've had conversation with a number. First, thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members, for allowing this citizen forum opportunity. As you know, your city has numerous applications that have been filed before Miami-Dade County. The village has also filed a application before the county. We have a conflict in one of those applications. We have tried to work with your staff to try to resolve this conflict to no avail. We are hoping that we can resolve this before the Planning Advisory Board meeting on Monday. If we do not find solution or resolution in this issue, neither your applications nor our application will go forth. And that's not my rule, that's the county rule. We have had conversation with both commissioners from the area, and they are in accordance with this, and also the staff from the county that deals with the applications that have been brought forth. So we're asking for your immediate attention, maybe a special meeting to discuss this item before PAB. And again, if these items are not brought up quickly, they will be waiting longer and longer. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Heidi Shaffron. I am the City Manager for the Village of Biscayne Park and your neighbor. I just want to reiterate with what Jose shared with you. It's important for us to be able to proceed with our annexation application. The Village of Biscayne Park does not have any income or revenue from commercial properties. We are 100% residential except for a nonprofit church. So we are very limited in our ad valorem income. This annexation area will allow us to diversify our income and become more strong and more stable as we go into the future. This annexation is part of a long-term plan for us, and it's not just about the next year or the next couple years. I'm hoping that we can act as good neighbors going forward and find some kind of resolution to our conflicting applications and hopefully resolve it before Monday's Planning Advisory Board at the council. Thank you.
Citizen Forum is not closed?
No, there's somebody coming back.
You have somebody coming? Oh.
It's me again, Marie Samuel, 12725 Northeast 12th Avenue. Everybody knows me here because they know I keep begging for help to rehabilitate my house. But I also have this other issue of the house that's next door to me at 12715 Northeast 12th Avenue. I have been working with code enforcement and minimum housing and trying to tell everyone that this piece of property has not been properly taken care of or built, and that it's causing damage to my property because my fence separates the two pieces of property. So I went into the records of Dade County, and I came across this permit that the city of North Miami gave called a paving permit. And it was given to the property at 12715 Northeast 12th Avenue. And it says that you are giving them this permit to pour concrete in front of the porch area, side, and walkway south side to the back unit. My question is, if you have a permit to pour concrete and it's a parking area, do you need another permit for parking in the area where the concrete is poured?
Normally normally we don't get into the
Yeah,
back and forth.
back
so
and forth. If we could get someone
we're
from,
going to be done early tonight, Marie.
Yeah, I know.
Let's,
I can see that.
Let's ask that you stick around a few minutes and meet
Well,
with the
just
manager.
let me finish what I have to say, though.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if this is a, if this is a paving permit, I would like your staff or somebody, because I have the citizens insurance with my mortgage, to please find out if this property has been legally worked with. And I know Commander Blanchard is here, and he's gonna start telling everybody about, oh, well, it's non-conforming. Well, I have your code here about non-conforming. It's section 6101. It says, the purpose of this article is to provide for the continuation.
Okay, Commander Blanchard, I would recommend that you get in touch with I'm sorry, what's the last, Samuels?
Samuel, but
Yeah,
we
Miss
don't
Samuels.
always agree. He always keeps saying I'm wrong.
Well, this is something that we have to settle, you know.
Well, I would like
in
you
the
to prove to
meeting.
me that this property has been done right.
May-
Because
Madam
I'm
Attorney?
If I may, perhaps we can schedule a meeting.
Yeah.
Blanchard and the building department,
Building
myself,
department, okay, building and
and
zoning.
Ms. Samuels to finalize this.
I already had a meeting with Nixon LeBron, and he said that I'm wrong. Everybody says I'm wrong. And I'd like to know why.
I have a lengthy letter for you, Marie. I told you, like I say every time you come up here, you call me every day, and I tell you as soon as I can get an answer for you, I'll get it to you.
Is that the non-conforming and the conforming
Here is
thing?
the explanation in depth of the non-conforming versus conforming. I wrote it myself so that it's hopefully understandable to lay people like you and I. This is for you tonight. I'll ask Gertie to hand deliver it to you. It was going to go out via stamp this evening, but we've just saved the city 49 cents.
But does
So
that mean we're not going to continue
we-
this permit?
let's continue our discussion tomorrow when you call me. Read that, and we'll go from there. It's only fair that we not belabor the night with one-on-one discussion on constituent cases when it's supposed to be us listening and not discussing.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We'll take the next person, please.
Thank you.
To the mic. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. My name is Jessica Alston. I live 1140 Northwest 125th Street in Sunkist Grove. This afternoon, approximately 1 p.m., I was riding down Northwest 125th Street between 8th Avenue and 7th Avenue, and I observed the people who are doing construction there putting dead weeds, placing dead weeds around the trees and filling in the planters. Now, I would have thought in its heyday that would have been green grass, but there was not one speck of anything green in what they were placing around the planters and the trees. That is totally unacceptable. You know, they put a division in the street, in the middle of the street, and they filled that in with these weeds and the trees and the remaining portions, which I, in my imagination, imagine it should have been grass. They filled it in with weeds. I just ask that this matter be investigated and corrected
Mr. Manager.
as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Howard Tonkin, 12600 Griffin Boulevard. I have a gift for you all. It's a, don't worry, it's just a tree. This is Pinus ellioti densa, which I've mentioned to you before. This is Miami-Dade pine, native to only 167,000 acres originally. The yellow is the original distribution of the tree. The couple of little green spots are what's left, 2,370 acres, making this the most imperiled forest on Earth. Also, this is the trees that our city was built out of. This is the trees that used to be here. I brought for you all tonight some pictures by A famous photographer, Bunny Yeager, that passed away on May 25th, 2014. You're going to really enjoy these pictures. But it shows some beautiful 50s pinups photographed in our city when it was a probably groovier place than it is today. But the background in all the pictures are these beautiful Miami-Dade, Pinus elliottidense pines, Earth Most Imperiled Forest. I want to ask you, as I've been asking you for a couple of years now, to please embrace endangered species of native plants in our city and embrace a sustainable future. Things are going to get really complicated in our city really soon. The purple on this map is not good. The purple represents what will be underwater in 5 to 7 years, according to the University of Miami's results that came out this week. Sea level rise has sped up ×3 in the last 5 years. If you do the math on that, it's not pretty. So I'm going to leave this information for you. I hope that we're going to talk more about rising sea level and climate change. It's the big thing that we all have to deal with coming in the future, and it's going to be what we're talking about a lot more in this city in the future. Miami Beach has allocated $500 million to this situation, native plants, and let's talk about rising sea levels. Thank you so much.
That was great, Howard. Carol Prager, 2509 Northeast 135th Street. I had an opportunity this weekend to attend a neighborhood meeting on code enforcement at the Griffin Center. Councilwoman Keys was in attendance. What I had thought that meeting was going to be about was talking about code enforcement in general. And what I found was when I got there was a table spread out, and there was all these flyers and papers and explanations about what you can and cannot do in North Miami, and that's fine. I'm not really belaboring that effort, but I think more importantly, what we need to start having a conversation about here in North Miami, between the residents and the council, is that code enforcement needs a lot of help. It's not working. Many of us feel it's gotten worse and not better. And that's not good for any of us. When I look at code enforcement, of course we call it code compliance, and that's nice too. This goes hand in hand with quality of life, property values, reduction of crime. It goes on and on and on. It's simply not working in this city. I work my neighborhood every day. I brought with me, I didn't bring it into the chambers, but I removed 6 signs nailed to trees in my neighborhood today. On weekends I do that. I have garbage on swales. I have a neighbor come to me saying that someone's renovating a townhouse, and she asked where the permit was, and he said, oh, I'm not going to deal with the permit. He goes, nobody ever comes around and checks, and the only way anybody's going to know I'm doing anything is if somebody phones it in. I'm really honestly tired of having police officers and code enforcement officers telling me that when I see something, say something. You know, that's become a full-time job, to pick up the phone and call in stuff that you see. So obviously, you know, this is not working here, and we need to have a real serious dialogue about this. And I think we need to do it before budget season, because I think we need more money for code enforcement.
William Previtel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'd like to address the upcoming comprehensive plan meeting that we're having, or the preliminary plan meeting that we're having on Thursday. And I do hope very much that the public attends. What a great opportunity. I hope we have many of the council people there as well. I hope that we can muster enough vision and common sense to go forward with this latest version of the comprehensive plan. And I know it's going to take a lot of effort to change the dynamics that are already set in place. Additionally, I'd like to, it sort of pains me when I hear Mr. Tonkin show up here at the lectern and in a very short period of time try to educate a somewhat unwilling and maybe it glazes over our eyes regarding our plantings and about the rising sea levels and a number of other issues. And I'd like to possibly request that at some time in the future, maybe when the schedule's a bit lighter, that he be given 10 minutes of presentation time at the earlier part of one of the meetings, so it isn't so rushed, and that we can go over this very important information, which would be of benefit to the city. In addition to that, I'd like to request that we also set aside possibly 10 minutes to address our downtown plan, where there was a great sort of interest in having a civic center core block, a super block that would compose our city hall, MoCA, the police station, an expanded park, and possibly parking, structured parking. And I'd like to possibly address the merits, the advantages and disadvantages of a couple sites for having this structured parking before things go in a direction and are unalterable. So if that could be scheduled, that would be great. I'd look forward to a little presentation on that and discussion of that, because I think there are some opportunities that we're missing that are kind of obvious and could pay off very greatly for us. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. I want to echo what Carol Prager said about code enforcement. I disagree with the code enforcement officers and the people in the code enforcement departments. I'm being told that there are only X amount of code enforcement officers now, where there used to be 14 or 16. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in the money that's being spent for beautification from the CRA, the monies that this city has gone through, and now we cannot hire code enforcement officers to keep our city clean. I think our code enforcement officers should be better educated to our codes. I have had Officer Beige today out to a location in Keystone Point that has been in that location, the violation has been in that location for maybe months, and our code enforcement officer didn't cite it. I am tired of people making excuses for code enforcement. There is no excuse for the way it's been enforced. It's not being enforced properly. Now to a more friendly issue. When I read the papers in the morning and I find that so many people are being hit by cars crossing streets. This morning was heartbreaking. A lady in a wheelchair went out at 2:50 in the morning, not in North Miami, I'm just taking in general, and she got killed. She was in a wheelchair. When I drive down 135th Street, where there's a heavy traffic, I see mothers or women crossing the street, in the middle of the street, with a child, maybe 3, 4, 5. We need education out there. If we have to go to the schools for them, sorry, am I done? If we have to go to the schools and have a program started with the schools about crossing streets, and have the children maybe in the schools do artwork so that we could have some signs put up, to instruct these people, please do not cross in the middle of the block. They put their hands up to stop cars as the traffic moves along. We don't need to see any children run over in this city or in any other city, but it really was heartbreaking this morning when I read that article. Thank you.
Citizens forum is not closed. We'll proceed with the reports. Council,
Through the mayor.
before we go to the reports.
Representative Campbell's item actually passed on the consent agenda, and I would really like if you could allow her some time. You know, I know it's passed, but
Representative,
she has a program on our.
opinion on that item?
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. My name is Daphne Campbell. I'm a state representative, District 108, and North Miami is my district. I'm here to say thank you first to all of you for really take this in consideration. That was my dream when I got elected 2010 to start in North Miami senior hot meals for seniors. Because the reason being, you have a lot of seniors who live by themselves, either the widow or they don't have, no children to look after them. And by being home alone, and they can't even, go to the kitchen to cook or make a little soup or something. So I took this really, really in consideration to make sure in Tallahassee we got money for senior hot meals. So I filed a bill for senior hot meals in Tallahassee, but the speaker says, and the chair for that appropriation said you don't need a bill, but you could ask your cities to apply for it. And I represent 4 cities, North Miami, Miami Shores, Biscayne Park, and El Portal. And all 4 cities apply for that money. It's already there. So I requested $900,000 for City of North Miami to start a senior hot meals for North Miami. And I did ask them as well, and we met with Department of State to apply for $500,000 for historical building, and we could have our own building with the senior hot meal. That's my dream, and I'm hoping we got the money and we started here, because I had 4, things I've been talking when I was elected, and in all 4, we have 3, on the way, and 3 already resolved, and we don't have only 1 left. And the one who left right now the senior meals is on the way. The only one who left right now is to remove the red light cameras. And I'm hoping, mayor and council, when I come back in May, session start, March 2nd to May 1st. When I come back in May, North Miami is free of all red light cameras, please, because I have few of them. So basically, I'm here in Tallahassee to voice for North Miami, and I know we have bills it will affected North Miami, and I call you guys and let you know about it. And whatever bills you all have to go to www.myfloridahouse.gov, and you click on representatives. You could click on my name and see all the bills I have, and you guys could follow through and call me in Tallahassee anytime and let me know what is going on, and I will voice for you. You are voiceless, I'm the voice, but I will make sure my voice well heard in Tallahassee, and North Miami would get every dollar you guys requested, and every bill we're going to affect North Miami, we could kill that in Tallahassee. Thank you. May God bless all of you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Representative. We'll proceed with the reports. Mine is has to do with actually code enforcement. Talking about code enforcement, I was working. No, not working. Actually, I was driving down 6th Avenue about 9 days ago, and this building actually caught my eye, of 145th Street and along 6th Avenue. So I stopped and I started looking, doing code enforcement work, and I identified many areas of the building that was not good, to see at all. And I went to talk to the city manager along with the code enforcement personnel. Then we went back to the building last Friday. And as I was talking to the manager and along with the code enforcement officers, found out that there were about 91 violations, and that building actually has been a problem child for a very long time. So I pretty much discovered or uncovered, even opened a Pandora's box. So having said that, we did a follow-up today from 4 to 6, where the officers went to every single apartment buildings of the residents who were present, and they made an individual inspections of all the rooms, and the major, right?
Yes.